So even to this day, I still get comments with people calling me the N word and stuff like that. And it's so funny because, you know, over the last year or whatever, I've been dealing with, troll comments and stuff of that nature. But here's what I got to say. If you don't like me, if you don't like my voice, if you don't like what I'm talking about, why are you here? You know, when somebody hates you or despises you, but they come on your channel and listen to all your videos, what does that say? Anyway, now, today I want to talk about the advancement of society as a whole when it pertains to artificial intelligence and how society has pretty much been waned off of self-independence, and now everybody relies on the system. Let me break it down. You see, back in the days, let's say 1800s or whatever, maybe 1700s, America fought its revolution, right? And they wanted to be independent from Britain because the British king at the time was just taxing too much. I know you guys know about the Boston Tea Party and how that whole shebang went down. But in those days, the populace had balls. They knew that the government systems in place were just fascist dictatorships that wanted the average person to suffer and be eliminated and neutralized and destroyed. But nowadays, everyone's addicted to something, and usually it's technological advances. You see people talking about, the newest iPhone or the newest this or the newest that. And a lot of these technologies, they have these back-end systems, which the Central Intelligence Agency can get into, and they can pretty much spy on you. I remember in what was it, 2014 when Xbox One came out, and they had this thing called the Xbox Connect. And I think the Xbox I got at the time came with it. And I kid you not, I shit you not. It was about 3:30 a.m. or something like that. It was 3 something in the morning. And all of a sudden, I was looking at my phone, and then the damn little Connect thing turned on, and then it turned my Xbox on, and then I remember seeing the camera slightly kind of move, and I wasn't controlling this. I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So I immediately unplugged that Connect thing, and I never used it again. And then I found out that there was hackers and people hacking into people's systems and shit like that, and I don't like stuff like that, But in this society, if you really just drive around in a modern city, you're going to see cameras on every single light. You're going to see multiple cameras in all directions. It wasn't like that in the 90s when I was growing up, just this society where it's like China pretty much, because, it's a new world order. It's not just one part of the world being spied on and being oppressed by their governmental systems and institutions. It's a global expansion. It's a new world cabal. It's a global cabal. And the more technology advances, the more it's going to be hard for people to break free from it, because think about it. We're all rats in the cage. We're all slaves to the system. We have to either obey by the system or get crushed by the system or find a way to make money in the system doing the things that we like and that what we really love in the system, which can be very difficult if you don't have the right support. You see, you have to have the right people around you. I'm going to keep on emphasizing that and keep on stressing that point because it's the truth. And when you have the right people around you, you got to have the right mindset, the right culture, the right nurturing, the right everything around you, so that way it makes your journey to the top a lot more smoother, than if you're in an environment where it's constant toxicity and hostility and people are envious of your abilities. And that's anybody, you know what I mean? You don't have to be famous and rich for somebody to hate you or see something in you that they may not have, but just because you're in a quote unquote low position, bro, if I was to get a good high paying job, my whole life would change with my intelligence, my articulation, and my motivation, determination, and all the things I've been through, kicked out, doxxed, destroyed, put in this position. If I had $100,000, how would I maneuver? How would I maneuver? If I had $1 million, how would I maneuver? And I want you youngsters, man, to understand this. Try your best to find out what your talent is and try to maximize and emphasize that, It takes a critical self-analyzation to understand your situation, to understand your talents and attributes and weigh them both. I was watching Brixton Man, you know what I mean? And he was talking about his journey to becoming a super musician, and how he had to pretty much leave his hometown and be homeless in his car for like a few months or whatever, make some connections and get into certain studios. And the next thing you know, he's working with Young Thug, then he's working with Drake, and he's starting to elevate, and he's starting to just do his thing in life and becoming successful. You see, a lot of success, man, it does have to do with the people who are around you, you know, and the people that you meet in life, because your network is your net worth. The people that you know, like if everybody, like all your friends are multimillionaires, well, that raises your chance of having financial stabilization exponentially. And if you're not around that, it sucks. But in this system, they don't want that. They don't want people coming together and trying to build things. This is why there's so much division. There's so much crap going on right now. The government shut down. We already know that's a damn Illuminati plot. Point blank, period. You know, they can shut down the government and do all that, but they won't shut down giving billions of dollars to Israel. You know, missiles, other type of armaments and components, tanks, armored vehicles. They're sending stuff to Ukraine, you know. And when it comes to actually helping the American infrastructure, to raising people up, for people to be successful, all of a sudden they run out of money. They run out of money on this. They can't pay the federal government workers this. You know, air traffic control workers are not getting paid and stuff like whatever the hell, you know. And it's like, well, how is that even possible? Because you got people like Elon Musk who make hundreds of billions of dollars. How come he doesn't step in and give some money, right? Or anybody like that, you know? How come these billionaires seem to have all these billions, but when the country really needs help, what they do is just tax the poor, which makes no sense. When you're in a position of economic deprivation, you're not really in a situation to pay all these taxes and things. God, once I'm out this hostile environment I'm in now, I cannot wait. You know, like I'm kind of excited, you know, even though I'm getting kicked out and thrown out and pretty much homeless, you know, it's like a new adventure. I was watching Joey the Gypsy, and he kind of gave me some inspiration about, you know, being in a homeless position or being in a position where, you know, either you're going to sink or swim. Either you're going to figure out how to make money selling or doing what you want to do, you know, whether it's online or whatever. Either you're going to figure it out, man, you know, and it could be better because you're going to see what you're really made of. A lot of people in this life, you know, they've never really went through real shit, you know, which is why a lot of people are sheeple. You know, when you go through real things in life, you gain life experience. You understand the system. You understand people. And one thing I'll say about people is people can hold something against you and hate you. And you're like, why? Tell me, what is it about me you don't like? Oh, you don't have a job. Okay, I don't have a job at this moment. But if one day I get a good job and become successful in music and put everything into it, then what are you going to say then? Oh, that's not going to happen. Don't put your insecurities onto me. The only reason why I'm in this position is because I was dealing with depression for years. You know what I mean? And isolation and desolation. You know what I mean? I was dealing with real demonic forces for real. But if I would have had Taz Taylor next to me, I wouldn't be in this position. You know, with people, you know, just shitting on you. You know what I mean? Talking about, just like, if I'm nothing in this life, why are you talking about me? If I'm truly a nothing or nobody, I got people coming on my channel commenting this, that, and the third. And it's like, well, if I'm nothing, how do you know all these things about my life? It means you were listening and watching my videos, which means you were paying attention, giving me your attention. You have a limited time on this earth, and yet you're watching me, you know? And you live in Croatia, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Or you live in some fucking another state. What is it about Black Pill Villain that people are so drawn to when it comes to negativity? I'm not here for that. Now, anyway, as we get further into the future, we're going to see a lot more of these attacks with the government shutting down, and wait till they start blaming it on artificial intelligence. Wait till they start blaming it on government infrastructures. Wait till they start saying, oh, well, it was an AI attack. It was a massive cyber attack. As if they don't know every inch of the systems, because I guarantee you couldn't hack into the system and get millions of dollars and put into your bank. You know, I don't know if you guys know this, but North Korea was known for hacking banks. Like, you guys know about the North Korean government? Like, the North Koreans, they have actually a pretty good cybersecurity program, and they get some of their people from China and Russia, and they'll be in North Korean places and inside the mountains or whatever, where they got these big servers and computers, and they'll be hacking different countries and taking shit from banks. Like, they'll be stealing like hundreds of millions of dollars, 50 million, 20 million there from this bank. And then all of a sudden, you know, sometimes they get caught, but other times they don't. And it's like, well, they have to be working with each other, right? Because if you know anything about the North Korean leader, he was raised in the UK, in Britain. I believe, or so, yeah, I think he went to school in Britain. I'm not mistaken. I forgot what college. You can Google what I'm saying. Type in North Korean dictator or North Korean leader growing up in Britain. So, and that's when the Western societies already knew what his father and his parents and his grandparents were about. They knew they were dictators, but they put them as dictators on purpose. You see, as Shakespeare said, the world is but a stage. And as we keep on elevating, proliferating, and integrated into this technological slavery, because that's what it is, we're going to see a mass of like attacks. Wait till they start releasing these robots and it becomes like iRobot, that movie with Will Smith, when the robots start turning on people and killing on people. And what was that one movie? Not a movie, it was a game. I think it was called Detroit Become Human. Have you guys ever played that game, Detroit Become Human? Where in that game, pretty much robots can be good. They can they walk around the house, they do the chores, they take care of the kids, they can even drive the kids to school, they can do all this cool shit. But it's like Order 66 in Star Wars, Order 666, whatever in Star Wars, whatever it was called in Star Wars, where they can just boom, snap, and they turn into a Manchurian candidate, and they start to neutralize and eliminate all those around them. Man, I can imagine what I can create when I'm in a good environment. You know what I mean? That's conducive to my growth and spiritual elevation and mental motivation. And another thing is when you have other people putting their inputs in your life as well, inputs and negative inputs, towards your situation, that don't really know you, or they think they know you because they listen to your videos. Oh, I know him. I'm listening to his videos. This gives me a sense of power. Oh, I'm listening to him. It's like, not really. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to elevate and escape, and create something. Point blank, period. When you spend all your time hating somebody or just caring enough about them to talk about them 24/7, oh, what is he doing? Oh, he ain't doing nothing. Oh, he ain't doing this and he's not doing that. What if I blow up tomorrow? I can't wait to see the faces on these people. You know what I mean? I'm going to put everything into getting money. You know what I mean? And none of these motherfuckers are going to have anything to say, once I'm in a position of prominence and dominance with my accomplishments. I'm a prolific writer, an excellent rapper, smarter than the most, Oh, but you don't have this, that, and the third. You don't know what the fuck I have. I may not have material things now, but you don't know what I can have in the future. I'm not like you. Most people would break in my situation. I'm not. I'm still making videos and creating and trying to elevate into a different situation, despite people actively trying to take me down, despite people online, trying to, send their little sniper shadow rounds or whatever the hell they're doing, I went from being anonymous to having thousands of people knowing who I am, hundreds of thousands if you count all the views. But we know that this world isn't like truth. You know what I mean? If you don't like what I'm saying, you make a YouTube channel and you build it up. You know what I mean? Point blank, period. Let's see how easy it really is. And I may not have a lot of things right now, and I'm getting kicked out again, you know what I mean? Which is fine. But I'm not giving up. I'm not. I don't have any family left. I just have pretty much my mom's, you know what I mean? Everybody in my family that was close to me is gone, And I hear people talking about how they use artificial intelligence, like to talk to. And to me, I'm still, because I understand, like, doing that, whatever. But it's just like, I always didn't like, even when I was younger, I remember watching Terminator and I thought it was cool, but I always thought it was weird seeing like human robots and that. I always thought that was just, I don't know, it just didn't seem right to me to see like they had the human form underneath their skin. There's all these robotics and all these, wires and computer chips and shit. Always like, that's kind of weird, but that's the world we're heading to. We're heading to a world where they're going to try to introduce and integrate that digital ID. Have you guys heard about that? That digital ID where it's like a digital ID that you have to use to access websites. It's going to have your social security number on there, your real name. It's going to have everything on there. So it's going to make it harder for people to troll, because when they start trolling, now people know your social security and the name, that the system automatically knows who you are exactly. And I guarantee the bastards who dox me, they're not going to want to try that again. And when that comes, because then the government's going to come right up to your house and knock, knock, knock. Hey, is your name John Smith? Your social security number is, you know what I mean? Oh, no, I don't know who Black Pill villain is. I didn't do it. Watch they lie. See, that's a cowardly thing to do. You know what I mean? You know you dogged somebody. You know you fucked up with somebody. You want to remain anonymous and act like you didn't do it. Like, why? you know? And that shows you how weak people have gotten. You see, back in the day, you come to somebody's face and just say, hey, I don't like you. You was a punk. And just fist fight right there. I'd much rather just fist fight and get it out the way. And then after that, okay, cool. You know what I mean? Whoever wins, wins, But then some people, you fist fight them. Like, this is how I feel. Like, if I had to put my hands on you, I could never fuck with you again. You know what I mean? For the most part, But in the future, watch when people try to, watch when they get the system, get everybody by the balls even more. And you're going to try, and they're going to raise the inflations, like, watching probably like maybe $30 or $25 for a fucking, $25 for a McDonald's meal or some shit like that. It sounds ridiculous now, but we ain't going to know what's going to happen the next 30, 40 years, right? And people going to want to revolutionize and try to fight back then, but it's going to be too late because we're going to have robots like Metal Gears stomping the streets. You're going to have Terminators and all type of shit. Robot police force. It doesn't seem right now, it doesn't seem possible. But 100 years ago, the technology we have in our hands, these cell phones and these computers and these contraptions, the ability to, express yourself online, that was unheard of in those days. Having like something you can talk to somebody in Germany in a split second, they'll think that's magic and probably burn you to the stake or something like that, like they did in the 1700s with the Salem witch trials and stuff. Technology is a scary thing, man. But anyway, man, I hope you guys enjoy your day, man. I'm finna go on my search for economic stabilization, even though, it's like I'm in the streets of Stalingrad. But I'll say this, man. Remember the person who you shitted on and talked about having no job and having no money? If that person ever becomes successful, keep the exact same energy.